So I'm the founder of Quadstreaker, and Quadstreaker is a new mobile app that lets you create a visual history of where you go in the world and also encourages you to get out and explore more of the world around you. So exploration is what I'd like to talk to you guys about today. It's a passion of mine. It's a defining central passion that I have. Ever since I was a child, I love to explore. So what I'd like to do is show you a simplified version of my childhood. And this is very simplified, obviously. So, this was maybe when I was like 10 years old or so. There was school, there was sleep, and then everything else seemed like an exploration. Grew up in a small town in Vermont, and I spent most of my time with friends biking around, exploring trails and old logging roads just to see where they'd go, back behind my friends' houses and stuff. Went tubing down the Battenkill River with friends on warm summer days. Everything I did was about exploration, and everything seemed to fill me with moments of discovery, and I had major curiosity, and it was always fun. And that was probably a third of my life was this exploration. This is definitely a passion that I've carried on into the present day. But my adulthood, my exploration tanked. I got a job, no more school. Sleep was about the same, sometimes not as good. But then there's all this miscellaneous stuff that gets in the way, like our life, all the things we have to do when we're an adult. And this exploration, this narrow little sliver, becomes the 2 weeks a year or so when you take a vacation and go traveling. In my mind, when I became an adult, travel was basically exploration. Go off somewhere new and explore some interesting place. So that's good, but if you say exploration equals travel alone, and that's 2 weeks a year, that's 3% of your life. And if this is something you love doing, it's something that's innate to all of us. We love exploring and going to different places. And that's a real drop-off from when you're a child. That's about 90% less exploration than you had when you were younger. So that made me wonder, what else could we do to explore more in the world? One of the easiest things to do is to play video games and virtually explore places. This scratches the itch, the urge we have to explore. It doesn't require us to go way out of our way to do something. And there's some epic virtual environments. Video games are really leading the way in this virtual exploration. You have huge worlds with amazing number of players and a ton of detail. And these games are packed with goals, with levels, with all kinds of achievements and quests that keep you getting a steady stream of rewards as you progress through the games. They have huge, huge complex maps that are just loaded with stuff. This is Skyrim, one of the leading games. Some of them have multiple continents to explore. You can spend years playing these games. Some people have. The graphics are totally sick. Just the realism, it blows away any video game that I grew up with. And you can immerse yourself in these things and satisfy that craving you have for exploration virtually. But when you compare these games, over there is Skyrim in real scale compared to San Francisco, it's far smaller than the real world. It's tiny. And that brings me to my point here that the Earth is the most epic virtual environment to explore, which is kind of obvious, but the numbers, the stats just blow everything out of the water. It's by far and away the biggest. So the question that I've wondered since pretty much October 2011, when I started working on Quadstreaker, was how can we encourage more exploration in the real world? What can we do to get people to have that sense of childhood exploration more than 3% of the year? There are a lot of things that are rigid in our schedules. There's only so much we can do with our work schedule, with our sleep. We're not going to change too much. So what can we do to increase our exploration? I think that the number one thing, the biggest barrier we have towards exploring more is just our mindset. if we think of travel as our only exploration, that 2 weeks a year, that's very limiting. But if we think of everywhere we go as an exploration, then that opens up a lot more exploration. And that's really what I've tried to do with QuadStreaker. So QuadStreaker is a mobile app. It's a passive location app that runs in the background of your phone all the time, and it collects and aggregates all of your history of where you go. I'll talk more about that in a second. But the goal is to turn 100% of your movement into a rewarding exploration experience. So not just the 3% of the year that you're traveling, 100% of your movement. So if we go back to this guy, if exploration equals movement, there are a lot of things in this miscellaneous slice of the pie here that we can start cutting out. So we had that travel slice before. If we add in our commute, things like our errands around town, going to pick up groceries, all kinds of things, going to the gym, exercising, biking, running, etc., all that stuff, if you add that all up, you can quadruple your exploration. All that movement can become exploration. But I think the real question is, well, how do you instill and infuse the spirit of exploration into something like a commute? Like, how do you make that interesting? How could going to the grocery store be an exploration? It's something we do all the time. It's not really something that excites us that much. So I've kind of loaded this thing up in advance. I think you can see where I'm going with this. If you take some of the principles of video games, some of the things they're doing so successfully to get you to put in all these hours of playing, giving you levels, giving you rewards, giving you a stream of incentives to keep playing these games, you can infuse a spirit of exploration into repetitive, normal behavior that you do in your everyday life. So what I'm showing here is a screenshot of QuadStreaker, our mobile app. And what we've done is divide the world into a bunch of squares. So there are squares all over your neighborhood, your city, everywhere in the world. There are these squares, and we call those quads. As you move around, as you streak them, you basically see them color in on a map. And seeing them color in is the simple satisfaction that we give you. It's a micro reward. As you move around, you see this sense of progress, and you see things color in. You can see this in your neighborhoods, in your city, and it spurs you to explore more and puts you in a mindset, oh, I'm not just going to get groceries. I'm actually exploring the world right now. Now, this thing scales up just like video games. There are levels. There's a sense of completion. Here's a user who's visited all these states, and they all colored in, and they have this really strong sense of completion from that. It's also social. Exploration is social. We're social. We're harnessing the powers of competition and encouraging you to go out and explore the world together. And I'd like to give PSFK an exclusive today. We just launched today a new feature. It's a full-blown social movement feed of all the stuff you're doing with your friends. So check out the app. It's iPhone only right now. So is this experiment working? Here are a few quotes from some of our users. And we didn't know what people would think. Are people actually going to use this to go out of their way? Can we change people's normal behavior? We have some amazing stuff happening. Some people are taking these crazy routes to work and going different ways just to see squares color in on a map. It's actually amazing. The power of game psychology is incredibly strong in some of these ways. So there was another quote from a guy. He said his wife was saying to him, "Why are you going this crazy way right now? Are you trying to get quads?" And he's like, yep, busted. That's exactly what I was doing. So what I'd like to say to tie this thing up is the real world exploration doesn't need to end when we're kids. We can continue to explore, even with our responsibilities as adults and all the things we have to do. We can explore this epic epic environment that is Earth, and we can do this by changing our mindset. And if we apply game psychology, we can make this into a really rewarding exploration experience. So one day, maybe, if this really gels and comes together well for people, we'd have you say something like, my commute today was like totally awesome. If we can get you to say that your commute is awesome, then that's like total success. That's what we're striving for. So that's exploration. That's Quadstreaker. It's in the App Store on iPhone. Android's coming. Love you to check it out. And always, any feedback from anyone here would be much, much appreciated. Thank you.